In this video, I'm going to go over a couple websites that are useful for basically estimating the cost of doing certain upgrades and repairs to your home. And so why this might be important is, for example, if you're bidding on a property and it's going to require a lot of work to kind of get it to a condition that you'd want. For example, if the carpets are really old or if the kitchen is really old and you want to estimate the cost of changing all that stuff out and getting it to kind of a newer rehabbed condition. Not everyone is so familiar with the trades and the cost of doing that, as especially as a newbie. So there are a couple websites that can help you with that. So the first one I wanted to just go over is one called HomeWise.com. And so when you open up the homepage, this is what you find. You can go to installation estimates. I think this is kind of the more useful part of this website. Maintenance costs for you can get for like cleaning and repairing and maintenance work, but for like construction projects, the installation estimate is pretty helpful. So when you click onto this, you can see that there are a bunch of categories here. So let's just pick one at random here. Let's pick lighting. So let's say you wanted to put in a pendant lighting system over like an island that you have in your kitchen. So a pendant light is like it hangs from the ceiling on a string and is kind of like this fancier kind of lighting system. So let's see how much it costs. So it asks you for your zip code. So this is a zip code in Fremont, California. And so it's cool because it gives you a low and high range. So let's say we wanted to put in 3 of these lights. We hit update. So what it does is it breaks down the different components of installing it. So it basically gives you the material cost, in this case, dependent lights. It estimates that there's 3, and that the total cost is gonna depend on the type of material you get, but you can expect to pay between 200 and 500. And then it gives you also a estimate of the labor cost. So basic labor to install. They estimate that it's 6 hours of labor, and it gives you kind of a low to high range estimate for paying an electrician. And then, in addition to the actual lights, there's just going to be additional supplies, and it kind of gives you an estimate here. And so, and then there's some optional stuff, like in this case, AFCI outlet, which is a type of circuit breaker. Some people may choose to put this depending on the location of these pendant lights, but it's optional. So if you wanted to check it, it would add it to the cost. But if not, you can just not include it. And then you can also, if you wanted to install it yourself, you could take off the labor here, for example. Then it gives you kind of a total cost for the project, and it's a range. So let's look at another one. Let's look at the flooring. So let's say you wanted to, and it gives you a bunch of different options here. Let's do install laminate flooring. So this is a type of flooring system that uses kind of a synthetic material, or it's laminated wood. So there's a thin piece of wood, and then it's laminated over. So let's again put in the location. So we'll just assume Fremont again. And let's say we know that the total square footage that we're going to do is 300 square feet. So let's update this. And so again, it just gives you a breakdown of the cost of the flooring, labor, additional supplies, an equipment allowance. So you may need some extra tools. If you're hiring someone, maybe you don't need that. And then if you need to remove the old flooring, that's something that you may have to do. So add that in. And it kind of gives you the total cost for the project. Okay, yeah, and then this last one is also important, disposing of the material. So sometimes there's a cost for that. And then it gives you a total cost, and it's pretty cool because it also does the math for giving you a average cost per square foot. And so, if you called up a couple of installers and told them, looked up material and you got a quote for $10 or $12 a square foot, you may look at this as a guide and say, hey, that's a pretty good deal. It's towards the lower end of the range. And so this kind of helps you triangulate actual quotes you're going to get and place them into a context. So I think it's a pretty useful tool. And if we go back here, you can see that there's a lot of different types of projects that you can basically look up. So like countertops, if you wanted to install granite countertops in your kitchen, or quartz. And I think the labor is probably going to be similar for a lot of these, but it's just the material that's going to change. So like if we looked at quartz, you would see again same kind of thing. You'd have square feet, so you can measure kind of the square footage, and it's not going to be 120, not even close. So maybe 10 square feet, and so yeah, in this way you can kind of get estimates for a lot of stuff, and it even has outdoors kind of projects like roofing and gutters, uh, putting in concrete. So I really encourage you to use this website to get as a starting point, especially for estimating the cost of rehabbing your property or fixing, upgrading things. Okay, so this is Fixer. It's a competing website. And so let's see what they have. And again, you can use this website in conjunction with HomeWise to kind of triangulate a cost. You can use both the websites to get estimates, and if they're consistent and kind of agree with each other, you'll have a good sense of what it should actually cost for your project. So let's look at the flooring, and let's just put in Fremont zip code that we were using. Okay, well, it looks like the website is a little more just involved in getting the actual costs. I think you have to go through a couple of steps. So let's try to do this quickly. Okay, so I guess to get the local cost, you have to actually their business model, I guess, is to be a lead generation for contractors. But it looks like it gives you pretty good information just reading some of the stuff here. So again, it gives you an estimate. And I guess, okay, so it's giving you 200 square feet. So you would have to basically do the math and divide the total cost by the square feet to get a cost per square foot. So it looks like it's around $10 a square foot. So, it has some information. I think just not going through this in a little more detail. HomeWise is a little simpler to use, but yeah, I guess it does kind of give you some cost estimates here based on the room size. So, this is just another option for you to kind of explore to get the information about rehabbing and fixing properties up.